Diane Heiler. I am the Reforestation Program Coordinator for the Forestry and Beautification Division for the City of Columbia. We plant about 500 trees per year in the right-of-way of the City of Columbia. Right now I am here to show you how we plant trees in the right-of-way. I am doing this because Keep the Midlands Beautiful organization has received a grant, part of which is to plant 50 trees in the right-of-way. When you begin to plant the tree, the first thing to do is find the address. Go to the address and you will see a white painted circle on the ground with a little white pin flag on it, and that will be the site where you plant the tree. To plant a tree, you will need several pieces of equipment. One will be about a 15-gallon container of mulch. One will be a 5-gallon container of water. You will definitely need a shovel and at least one of 2 rakes. One would be a leaf rake. Those are those wide flanged, sort of loose rakes. The other will be a hard or garden rake, and that will help you rake up soil from the ground. The other thing that you can use would be a Pulaski. A Pulaski is what forest fighters use to clear kindling and flammable material on the forest floor. It will have a long hoe-like blade, and they will have an axe on the end, Pulaski. This is what you will use if the ground is very difficult to dig in. This is where teamwork comes into play. One person can use a Pulaski for a while to loosen up the dirt, while the other person with a shovel will remove the dirt from the hole. Please be good team players because both are very tiring, and you can switch off. The other thing is when you dig the hole, it is best to put all of the dirt from the hole into one pile. So then you can retrieve it from one site when you fill in around the tree. Please be careful when you use the Pulaski and the shovel. These can be quite dangerous tools. If you swing a Pulaski and the ground is softer than expected, you can swing it into your own shin, and that is very painful. The other thing is with the shovel. The shovels are quite dangerous if somebody is standing behind a person with a shovel and you're rearing back, you can pop them in the face. So the shovel and the Pulaski, please be aware of when people are using them and give them clear space. When you are through with the tools at the moment, whether it's a leaf rake, the hard rake, the Pulaski, or the shovel, please place them away from the work area where you are walking. These will easily become a trip hazard, and they can cause you injury. Before you plant, the first thing you do is take all labels off the tree. Flagging, labels, any of that off the tree. What you will keep on the tree will be this post. Here's a picture of an elm. We planted it this past winter. It still has the post attached to it. Please keep the post in. We will remove it later in the year. Now the other thing is to remove the container from the tree. So we are not removing the tree from the container, we are removing the container from the tree. So one person will hold the tree steady and the other person will pull the container off the root ball. This may require a lot of finagling. You can cut the 15-gallon container off. Some careful swipes with a shovel can crack it and loosen it up if the tree has been root bound. So once you pull this away, position the root ball close to the hole. Now one person will still need to hold the trunk, another person will need to cut the roots. You just need to cut the roots because those roots have been growing around and around and around each other in the container. they will be locked in place unless you cut it. They will continue to go around and around and around, and they will eventually strangle themselves, and the tree will die. So you just need to cut just enough to loosen the tree roots around. So this is where then you will gauge how deep the hole is after you've cut the tree roots, because some soil will fall off. So you will gently, you have your hole dug, you will need to tamp down the bottom of the hole to make it firm. If it's soft, the tree will sink afterwards, and we don't want the tree sinking. What we want is the root flare. This is where the trunk and the roots meet, and they will flare out. It'll be like a buttressing. That's what the root flare is. And this needs to be at ground level and not below the ground. The root flare area is not where you're absorbing water or nutrients. This is essentially covered in woody bark, and it wants to be nice and dry. So you do this by placing this in, and you will put the leaf rake across the hole and the tree. If the root flare and the leaf rake, the wooden handle, are at the same height, then you've done your job. If the root flare is way too high, you need to gently pull the tree out and dig some more. If the root flare is too low, if it's below the level of the handle of the rake, then you need to gently pull the tree out and add more soil. So you will do this continuously, tamping down the bottom of the hole until it meets the root flare and the leaf rake handle meet. So once that happens, the next thing you need to do is have one person hold the trunk, and the other person will check at 2 angles, perpendicular angles, to see that they're holding it straight and it's not leaning in one direction or the other, because that will be permanent. Once those roots have grown into the ground, the only way you can undo this is by slicing the roots and tilting back the tree. So make sure that the tree is straight up and down. This helps then that the other person will gently shovel in the soil around the tree while one person is holding it. That person will also gently tamp down the soil to make sure that the tree is growing in a stable soil condition. You will do this up to the root flare. If you have leftover soil, you can make a berm or a rimmed circle around on the area that has not been dug. You will have a raised rim around that will help hold in water when we water it throughout the next year. Once you do that, you can get the mulch and you will sprinkle it on the raised rim and over the dug soil and the root ball around the trunk. The depth of this should be about 2 to 3 inches only, maybe the length of your longest finger. If you put too much mulch in, the mulch steals the water from the tree. If you put too little in, the root ball and the soil heat up, and that can kill off the top layer of roots. After you have the mulch on, this is where you pick up your water bucket, 5 gallons, it will be heavy, and you will water the root ball and the dug soil. You don't need to water the berm. It is just there to prevent water from draining out when you do this. So after you've done this, please rake up and clean up the site. There will be leftover bits of soil, grass, flagging, labels, any of this. So clean it up so it looks good when you leave. So when you are finished, you will have a tree that, if it's an oak, will be here from 100, 150 years. If you have children, grandchildren, they will know that you planted this tree. And it will provide shade, nesting area for birds and squirrels, food for other wildlife. It will be quite the legacy long after we are all gone. So we in the Forestry and Beautification Division are very grateful for you all volunteers doing this hard work of planting trees in the right-of-way. This benefits all the citizens in the city of Columbia and all the visitors, and especially the people whose homes you have planted this nearby. Thank you very much, and best of luck planting these trees.